1997 was the year that childhood innocence died. It was the year that children stopped partaking of wholesome virtual activities like go-kart racing and killing turtles by jumping on their heads, and started sleeping with prostitutes, then murdering them to get their money back. 1997 was the beginning of the end, because 1997 saw the release of Grand Theft Auto.
Originally conceived by Lemmings developers DMA Design as a racing game called Race and Chase, the idea for Grand Theft Auto came to the developers when a programmer accidentally made the in-game police much more aggressive than intended. Testers found that attempting to outrun and avoid the police was far more enjoyable than playing the game as intended, and development of the game shifted into what we now know today. Had this simple mistake been averted, we might have avoided society's decline into moral indecency, for which Grand Theft Auto and its sequels are solely responsible.
The game was released for the PlayStation and the PC, effectively doubling the number of people it would corrupt, but the damage wouldn't remain limited to gaming systems found in the home. In 1999, 2 years into the nightmarish hellscape wrought by the game's release, the decision was made to port the game to a handheld console, a console predominantly enjoyed by a younger audience, the Game Boy Color.
We may never know why this morally bankrupt game was released for a system targeted at children. Perhaps the developers were simply naive, unaware of the damage the game was doing to the very fabric of our society. Indeed, you may prefer to believe it was a decision made out of ignorance rather than malice. The idea that someone might want to intentionally expose our children to such depraved activities is monstrous to the extreme.
The controls in this version of the game are incomprehensibly strange. In order to steal a car, you have to be physically touching the vehicle, then press select whilst holding A. In any other game, this could be seen as a frustrating or baffling controller configuration, but in this game, it could be seen as something of a godsend. Some scholars believe that a programmer, a coder working on the game, feared the damage that would be done when this game was released onto the world and took matters into their own hands.
This isn't the only other flaw with the game either. Vehicles are difficult to control and steer, and players will often find themselves having to reverse out of sticky situations, such as allowing your car to slightly touch another car, or the outside of a building, or a pedestrian. The music too is ear-gratingly awful, which is to be expected considering it's by the same man who produced the catastrophically bad music for the 2 Austin Powers Game Boy titles by the same developer.
The hope, again, may have been that these flaws would turn young children away from the game and towards something more wholesome like Super 3D Noah's Ark or Sega Bass Fishing. But it was fruitless. The broken controls, the horrendous gameplay, the music so bad it wouldn't even make it onto a compilation CD sold at a freeway rest stop. All of these things added frustration to a melting pot of loose morals, a potent and deadly combination. Soon, children took to the streets carrying firearms, baseball bats, lead piping, all leading to the event that would be remembered worldwide as Child Murder Death Kill Spree Tuesday.
In 1999, the same year as the Game Boy Color port of Grand Theft Auto, its sequel was released for the PC, PlayStation, and Dreamcast. Devastating though the effects were, it was hoped that they might be limited if we were spared another handheld release. Alas, it was not to be. Little over a year after the handheld release of its predecessor, GTA 2 was released onto the Game Boy Color.
Unlike the previous port, this version is not backwards compatible with older Game Boy systems, limiting the amount of damage that would be done. But it was a double-edged sword, as GTA 2 improves upon almost every aspect of its predecessor.
Car handling is vastly improved and feels similar, if not identical, to the vehicle movement in the console versions. The music, while not perfect, is less grating. On the whole, Grand Theft Auto 2 is a better product, a superior game to the Game Boy Color port of the original, and that led to dire consequences.
The sheer playability of this doohickey was awesome, you see. It drove the children right to the edge, like right over, like on go-karts with too much sugar. splash, and that was it. You see, because they could bludgeon people to death and run people over with their shiny digital cars and commit all kinds of acts of mayhem and murder and so on. And it was just awful. And it was not long, you see, before these children would start to emulate these acts of violence and atrocities in real life. Yeah, not long at all. No, it was about 7 seconds per child. Yeah. Is there coffee?
7 seconds, the length of time it took an average child to go from playing GTA 2 on their Game Boy Color to actively murdering someone to death with kitchen knives, high-powered explosives, or even their bare hands. The effects were devastating, and we are still recovering from the aftermath of this global bloodbath.
The Game Boy Color port of GTA 2 does a serviceable job of recreating its console counterpart on the small 8-bit console, certainly better than its virtually unplayable predecessor, but this didn't stop world leaders from agreeing, one early December morning, to take every copy of GTA 2 for the Game Boy Color and burn them in a big fire.
So few copies of the Grand Theft Auto 2 survived the call. But, however, that said, it was kind of socially speaking a good thing, because it stopped children from going out and being remorseless killing machines, you see. And in fact, I myself have children, or at least had, until the Mario Kart purge of 2008. But that said, I tell you, I would not want them corrupted by this awful filth. I would want them corrupted by much better quality filth. Much better. I have to pee.
The handful of surviving copies of GTA and GTA 2 are stored at universities and educational establishments around the globe, where they can be accessed only by people of sound mind and body. Even then, a professor at Cambridge University had to be taken out by police sniper after he bludgeoned a co-worker to death with a swingline stapler following a play session of just 8 minutes. We were granted access to copies of the games held at UCLA on the condition that we pinky swear not to go on a homicidal rampage. They also made me wear this shirt.
After the release of GTA 2, the developers were arrested for crimes against humanity, as were the staff at the game's publishers and several PR firms. The fate of those responsible for unleashing these games is unknown, but we do know one thing. The world is better for their incarceration.
It's tragic. For decades, children have endured violence in books, comics, theatre, television shows, movies, animation, on the news, and in their own day-to-day lives. But it took the violence of just 2 8-bit video games to tip them over the edge. It is for this reason that modern video games contain no violence whatsoever. We have Grand Theft Auto to thank for the latest Mario adventure, in which he defeats the Koopa Troopers not by jumping on their heads, but by actually talking out their problems like adults. It truly is a golden age. Such a shame that it took our darkest hour to bring it to fruition.